We are live. What's up, my friend? Abby here, and welcome to another Write With Me live stream. I'm so happy you're here. So glad to see all of your smiling faces in the chat. First things first, tell me if you can see me and hear me okay. Make sure that my camera are working while everyone hops on the live stream. So hopefully you're ready to write today. I am ready to write and have my cozy writing space all prepared. I have I have a candle going. I have a pumpkin spice latte to sip on, and I'm definitely ready to get some writing done. Okay, everyone can see me. Wonderful. Fabulous. So tell me where you're tuning in from. Type in the chat and let me know where in the world you are and what you're working on today. I'd love to hear about your current work in progress. A lot of you might be doing some preparation work this month for Preptober because it's October, and in November we have NaNoWriMo. A lot of you are doing NaNoWriMo. Tell me in the chat if you're doing NaNoWriMo this year. I don't know yet if I'm going to be doing it. If I am, I'll probably be using it to work on a nonfiction book, but nothing's decided yet. So we'll see what happens. We'll see how crazy November gets, but yeah, lots of possibilities. Let's see. Writers from all over the world tuning in. Awesome. Poland, Philippines, Iowa, Indianapolis, Maryland, India. Welcome, everyone. I'm so glad you're here. Okay, so we have some writers doing NaNoWriMo. Awesome. Very cool. Me and Kate just posted a podcast, which you might have seen. We posted one last Monday, but also the previous podcast before that was all about Preptober. So if you need some Preptober tips and tricks, definitely check that one out. Okay, so what I'm working on today is a project that I started late summer, more like September. I started just randomly writing something new that I had an idea for, and it's been coming to me pretty quickly. So just kind of trying to ride this wave of inspiration and see where it takes me. It's a contemporary. There are romantic elements to it, but I would say it's more like, it's one of those, complicated family relationship dramas that I like so much. But yeah, it's been very cozy and nostalgic to write, and it takes place in Vermont. I'll tell you that much. But yeah, I'm really excited for it. I've been enjoying writing it and sort of building these characters through backstory and lots of fun, juicy conflict to explore. Awesome. So lots of different writing projects being worked on today. We have fantasy, mystery, multi-point of view fantasy. Awesome. Sounds epic. So cool. So who's ready to write? If you are new here and this is your first time at a Write With Me live stream, welcome. The way these live streams are structured is we do writing sprints, 25 minutes on, 5-minute breaks in between to chat about our stories. And during those breaks, I will answer some questions that pop up in the chat, and then we get back into it. So we're going to do 3 writing sprints total. And if you are in the Discord community as well, I'm going to be running sprints over there too. So feel free to join over there if you're there. If not, and you want to do writing sprints like this every day, all the time with the community, the Discord community is a great place to do that. So you can join by clicking the link below this video, which will take you to Patreon. When you join my Patreon at any level, you get access to the Discord server. So definitely recommend checking that out. Okay, so I'm going to start a sprint over in Discord and join that. Starting in 2 minutes. So I'm not sure where I'm going to start working on today, so I'm just going to join with 0 words. I might write a little bit of backstory for one of my main characters. I think I might start there. I'm not sure. I've been writing backstory like side by side with writing the current story, so I always have some sort of option to choose from when I sit down to write this project, which is fun. It's been interesting. Okay, so I'm going to set my timer, and I'm going to set an alarm as well. Feel free to set your own timer or just go by mine. We're going to get started. Hopefully you guys are ready to write, have something cozy to drink and some music or whatever inspires you. So we're going to sprint for 25 minutes and then take a 5-minute break, and I will answer some questions. Okay, let's go. Is timer number 1. Sprint 1 is finished. How did it go? Let me know in the chat. Okay. So it looks like you guys had a good sprint. Wonderful. Awesome. Great work, everyone. Let's see, I wrote 425 words. Oh, I guess the Discord sprint hasn't run out yet. Huh. Okay. Awesome. Fantastic work, everybody. Wonderful. Great job. Okay, we're going to go into another sprint in a few minutes. First, I want to answer a few questions. I saw a super chat came in while we were on the live stream. So I want to thank you for the super chat from I Love Being a Girl. Asked, I'm fine with thinking of novel plots, but find I have trouble with thinking of ideas for subplots that help advance and enrich the rest of the story. So that's a really good question. I get a lot of questions about subplots specifically because it can be difficult to weave those subplots into your main plot. I actually did a whole live training on this topic, so definitely check that out. That's in my Patreon at the live training pass level. One of the first live trainings I ever did actually was on subplots. I also have a few videos on my YouTube channel about it. But what I like to do with subplots is, first of all, always think of them in terms of what character they're related to. So a lot of times it will be with your side characters. Not always. Sometimes there's a subplot with the main character. But a lot of times it has to do with a side character that your main character is interacting with. So when developing a subplot, I usually try to look at, okay, how can these two stories like connect and mean something to each other? Like sort of the subplot has a deciding vote in how the story ends, is one way I like to look at it. And in the live training on subplots, I give a lot of different subplot examples and kind of show how they interweave with each other. But basically what you're trying to do is find ways for the other characters in your story to have transformative journeys, right? Even if those are negative character arcs, or maybe they're positive character arcs, or maybe it's just that this other character goes on some sort of a journey or changes somehow, or maybe they just do something that makes the protagonist change in a different way. So there's a lot of different things to do with subplots. But definitely check out that live training I mentioned. That's in my Patreon, which the link is below this video. And yeah, I also have a couple of videos on subplots as well. But it's a big topic. Let's see. Another super chat just came in. Thank you so much to Narrative Dude. Do you follow morning pages or wild mind like ritual for waking up the creative beasts? That's a very good question. I used to do morning pages like all the time, as far as just like brain dumping my thoughts first thing in the morning and journaling. And I liked doing that for a while, but then it eventually got to be like, I felt like it was just taking me a long time to journal my thoughts by hand. And so I started doing it on the computer, and then I kind of shifted away from doing it. But it can be really helpful sometimes for figuring out like, okay, what is there in my mind? What are these ideas and creative juices that may be lying dormant that you kind of want to wake up the creative beasts, like you're saying. So it can be really helpful. I think that you should find what works best for you. What I do with journaling now is like, I only journal when I feel like I need to get my thoughts out of my head and just get them on paper, which isn't every day. So I think that however you approach it should be like whatever serves you best. But it can be really helpful just to empty your mind onto the page and see what's there. Let's see. Bella Cox asks, are filler scenes okay if it develops character relationships? I worry that if I write too many scenes of just character interaction, it will get repetitive, but I don't know. Yes, absolutely. If they're furthering character relationships and building the layers of conflict between characters, then these are not filler scenes. These are important scenes. They matter to your story. So I would say anything that is building a relationship or creating conflict between characters that scene matters to your story. So when it can get repetitive is when you feel like these characters have had this same exact conversation before and nothing changes. So I have read stories like that where it seems like the characters just keep having the same communication with each other and nothing's changing between them. No conflict is being built. There are no stakes being raised. There's just like this merry-go-round of the same discussion over and over again. So you want to avoid that, obviously. But what I like to just check in and ask myself at the end of each chapter, each scene is like, what changed? What just happened between these two characters that now they have a little bit of a mindset shift, or they are feeling a little bit differently about the other person, or feeling differently about some conflict in the story. So to me, if there's always something that's changing and moving forward, then you're good to go. Especially with character relationships, because a lot of times you won't have much action, but you still have a lot of juicy intrigue. Okay, I'm gonna answer one more question, and then we'll get into our next sprint. Rayanne Andrews asks, any advice on character-specific dialogue? I tend to struggle with most characters sounding too similar. Great question, and I actually just posted a video quite recently about dialogue, and I did a live training on dialogue. So my previous live training was all about dialogue, digging into the 7 powerful keys to writing great dynamite dialogue. And in that live training, I dig deep into talking about character voice and making your characters sound different from each other. So definitely check that out because it's a lot to unpack, but I also talk about dialogue and character voice in my video that goes with the live training. So check that out. That's on my channel. I posted that quite recently. And when you join Patreon at the live training pass, you can get access to the dialogue live training, which is super detailed, lots of value in that, and also all my other live trainings. So yes, definitely check that out. And I think that will help you a lot. Finding character voice is something that takes time, but it's so much fun. It really is. Okay, let's get into our next sprint. Let me set my timer. Talked for a while on that one. Okay. I say 5-minute breaks, but I can't shut up, so. Actually, I didn't even add my words from last time. What? Okay. So I'll start a sprint in the Discord when this one ends, but for now, we will start our next sprint. Sprint number 2 is done. Tell me how it went in the chat. I feel like that was a good sprint. Let's see. 822. I feel like the Discord sprint's going to run up any minute now. I think it was around like 400 words I just wrote. Oh, okay. Looks like you guys had a wonderful sprint too. Awesome. Fantastic. Great work, everybody. Okay, so we're going to take a quick break and answer some questions and then get into our third and final writing sprint. Let's see. Oops, hold on, where did it go? Oh, this question from Arianator's Zone. Hopefully I'm saying that right. How do I focus more on just the one specific main character on being unique, or the other side characters to be different? Since my story has so many characters, I find it hard to do both. So this would come into like character building. I would recommend getting deeper into your characters' personalities and their backstories and what conflicts they're dealing with, because that's really what is going to make them unique and different from each other, is that they are all on separate journeys, right? They're all dealing with different conflicts. So even if they are all in the same scenario together, like let's say they're all facing the same external plot, they're all facing the same external circumstances, they still have unique individual backstories, right? They all came from different places, different cultures maybe, and they all have different personal conflicts that they're dealing with, beyond just what's immediately happening in the plot. So I recommend going to each one of your character profiles and just making some notes about these characters. Where have they come from? What's their backstory? What's their most basic desire, most basic fear? And where did these desires and fears come from? Where do their misbeliefs come from? Even if you could just do like a quick sketch of some of their backstory and what led them to this moment, I think that will help you a lot to feel like each character is unique and different from each other. Let's see. Also, guys, if I'm sniffing a lot, it's because I've been dealing with some really bad allergies lately. Something is just, I think it might be the pine pollen in the air around here, but it's been driving me crazy. Joseline Penn says, literally just wrote the first 100 words for today and already got so wrapped up in the character that I literally cried because the character is so me. I'm so glad that you're getting into this story. That's awesome. And so cool that it's having an emotional impact on me. That's the best feeling. Oh, let's see. Someone asked, please explain pacing. I saw that real quick, but then it disappeared. So I'll catch that question. Pacing. The easiest way to look at pacing, in my opinion, is that you see everything happening at the pace at which you read, right? That's like my golden rule of pacing. So if you're pacing a single scene, or maybe an action sequence or a fight scene, or even just a conversation between two characters, when you slow down the pacing with, say, too much description, or maybe a character stops in the middle of a conversation to introspect for like 2 pages, well, now you're slowing down the pacing as far as you're like hitting pause on the current story to go into these characters' thoughts and emotions. Now, sometimes that might be something you want to do if you want to deliberately hit pause so that we can see a little bit of what the character's thinking in a particular scene. But you also want to be careful about how often you're pausing the action of the story, because sometimes you can slow down the momentum so much that it's like, what is going on here? I want to get back to what's happening. So yeah, pacing is something I've talked about in previous videos. Definitely check out the video I have on my channel about pacing. I think it's called How to Master Pacing and Descriptions, I think is what it's called. But in that video, I talk about how you can literally see what's happening at the pace at which you read, and I give some good story examples in that. Dark Solid X gave a super chat. Thank you so much for the super chat. Hi, Abby. Not writing today. A bit under the weather. Oh, I'm sorry. I hope you feel better soon. Your new book arrived, and I'm so excited. Thanks. Yay. Hope you like it. How do I compile a group of ragtag adventurers who would be interesting when they're together? Okay, so kind of what I was saying earlier about like making each character unique. To me, what makes a adventure story or any sort of conflict with a group of characters interesting is that they all bring something different to the scenario. So it can be good to have them all have very different personalities from each other. That can be a really good starting point for this. But you also want to dig into their conflicts. Okay, it's not enough that they're just these like archetypal characters of like, you know, here's the comic relief, here's the serious one, here's, you know, the lone wolf with a dark past. Like that can be a good building block, but build off of that. Build into, okay, why are they the way they are? What is their weapon, weakness, and want? The WWW rule is one of my favorite things to go by because it helps you to really quickly see, okay, what is this character bringing to this scenario? What are they bringing to the group, bringing to the adventure, the conflict, or the goal that's trying to be accomplished? Do they have a unique talent that they bring to this scenario that helps them, that helps the conflict be solved or helps the goal to be accomplished? Do they have a unique weakness that makes them a liability in some ways? And where have these things come from in their past? So figuring out all of that will help a lot when it comes to making this feel like a unique, fun environment with all these different characters interacting with each other. Yes, the WWW rule. I can't remember when I talked about that. I think I talked about it I know I talked about it in a podcast, but I think I also talked about it in last year. I did a Preptober video with the updated character profile. I think I may have talked about it in that video, but yes, it's a good rule of thumb. Okay, let's get into our third and final writing sprint. Super excited to get back into this scene. So I set my timer again. I don't think I was able to, yeah. I was talking so much that Discord went and counted the words without me. Oh, whatever. I think I wrote like 400 and something, but yeah. Okay. Last sprint, guys. Let's finish strong. 822 words. Jordan. Okay. Awesome. Yeah, I don't know why the phone keeps ringing. But thankfully, someone else is always around to answer it. Okay. Let's get into this. Set my timer. And we will chat again in 25 minutes. writing sprint done. Fantastic work, guys. You did an amazing job staying consistent, staying with it, and finishing strong. You should be so proud of yourselves. Tell me how it went in the chat. I didn't finish this chapter, but it's a backstory scene, so I'm still building off of it, and I'm not sure how far it's going to go. But right now I'm in sort of like a montage, so trying to sort out what I want my characters to be doing throughout this montage. So montages are kind of fun to write because they're they have to go by quickly, like we're saying, the pacing. The pacing of a montage sequence in your book is going to be much quicker. So you kind of have to really decide, okay, what details do I want to show the reader in little snapshots? And that's what I'm doing right now. So super fun. And I'm looking forward to continuing with this scene. But for now, we are coming to a close here with our writing session today. Looks like you guys had a good sprint and a good session. I'm so glad you're able to join me. Let's see if my thing ran out. No, it didn't. Okay, well, if Discord runs out while I'm sitting here, I can add my words. But if you're not in Discord, know that we are doing writing sprints like this all the time in Discord. So if you enjoy doing these Write With Me live streams and just having the interaction with the community while you write and getting to chat with all of us about our writing projects is super fun. So if you enjoy that and you want that in your life every day, definitely check out my Discord server. And you can get access to that Discord server by joining my Patreon at any level. So the Patreon link is below this live stream. Check that out. And I hope to see you in there because we are doing writing sprints all the time in there. And it's super fun. But also, coming up in November, I wanted to remind you guys, we're going to be continuing with our tradition, our yearly tradition of doing NaNoWriMo Write With Me live streams all month long. So I know a lot of you guys look forward to that each year because it's super fun. We kind of get to make progress each week and show up and hold each other accountable, but also see the progress that we make each week. So I hope you will join me for that. Even if you're not doing NaNoWriMo, you can still join the Write With Me live streams. So we'll be doing those every Wednesday in November. And I'm really excited to write with you throughout the month of November. It's going to be fun. I still have to sort out what I'm going to be focusing on for November for NaNoWriMo. But yes, still time to do that. If you haven't prepared yet, don't worry, neither have I. But I am working on a fun project that is going to continue over the next few months. So I hope to see you writing with me in November on this channel. And as always, until then, happy writing and rock on.